Okay, so let's get into the actual sequencing part of this, actually putting your clips together. So now some of the different screens I have make a little bit more sense. Here I have the ability to watch individual clips from my clip bin here. And then when I drag a clip over, say I want to start with this nice establishing shot here, and I drag that on in. This player over here is going to play what's in the sequence. And that's important too if I want to watch and see different transitions. Say I want to cut over to maybe this clip of Nellie walking through, or maybe this hallway, whatever it is I want to do here. I can then see, okay, I see how that transition to that works. Okay, that works, right? So different ways to kind of watch back your footage as you're editing on Premiere. So with this project, especially this group, all shot about 5 seconds, which is going to add up nicely. They're going to get, about right at about a minute's worth of footage, which is what I was after. And in this case, they probably are not going to have to edit much. However, editing, kind of trimming clips, figuring out what of your raw footage you want to actually put in the sequence, that's most of the work of editing. So let's give an example here. And this is a clip where we have Nellie walking through. Let's go ahead and watch this. This clip is about 20 seconds long. We have her walking. Look at that, enjoying the art building. Then she's going to stop here for a while. Back, ask if it was natural. Very natural, Nellie. Well done. Kind of walk back. So maybe we don't want to use the entire clip, right? It kind of kept rolling there. So I've got a couple of ways to trim that to just get what I want. My preferred way is using in and out points, and that's using this view over here. So what I would do is I would find the part where I want to start the clip. So she's looking at the camera. Then she's very naturally walking away. I'll hit the I key for in and the O key when I find the part where she turns around. So maybe right there. O key for out. And then I can just click the image and drag it right into my sequence, and I've got it. There's a number of reasons I like doing this way, because it's nice because if you want to maybe just bring the video and not the sound, you can do that. Or if you want to just bring the sound, you can do that. Especially for more advanced editing, I think this is the better way to do it. Let me show you the very easy way, though, too. So let me just reset my in and out points. What you can do with this clip as well is just drag the whole thing in and then use the trim feature. And that's just on the selection tool, which is right here, grabbing the edges and just pulling it in to the part where you want it to start and stop. First thing I'm going to do is click here to make my screen a little bit bigger so I can really get to those points. I can also use the minus and plus key to zoom in, minus key to zoom out. And I'll just kind of find the part where I want it to start. So I want to get rid of there. So maybe right there. I'll click the edge of it, drag it in and trim it in. Find the part at the out. And there she is. Boom. There we go. All right. And that's using the trim function. So just kind of grabbing with the selection tool. Now there's a final way that, again, is a little bit more, subjective based on how you are editing. So the trim works if you want to just kind of shorten an overall length of the clip. Another really helpful one is the razor tool here. What that's going to allow you to do is cut the clip up into different chunks. So say I want to maybe start, I'll get rid of her kind of looking at the camera. I'll make my first razor cut, and you see the clip splits right there. We got oops, not that one. We got a nice split between the two clips. If I can get to it right there. I'm going to keep going. She's walking, turns around. I'll put another clip there. And then maybe on the end, I want a little stinger where she's got her arms up in the air. I'll just add a little bit of that. Arms up in the air. Great. And now I've got all my razor cuts. Then I can go back to the selection tool and just get rid of these parts. I'm just hitting the delete key. And just delete that. I don't want that part. Delete that. And delete all the scraps. And now I've got the beginning of my clip, and I got this little end stinger thing that I like that I may add at the end. Okay, great. So another part of this is I'm trimming, and maybe I'll go ahead and add, another nice close clip in. Maybe I don't quite want that length. I'll maybe trim that in a little bit. Looks good. Nice wind blowing on that. And I'll just go ahead and start adding in my different clips, thinking about nice mix of medium and close shots. It looks like this group did a great job of having that mix, finding interesting ways that the footage kind of flows into each other. And that's where using this viewer to kind of see how one thing flows into the other to get a sense of what works happens. Now, the other thing is this group, obviously, audio is not an important part of this. But it is kind of distracting here. So there are a number of ways to get rid of the audio. One, I think you could just mute it here. Yeah, mute track. But if you want to actually get rid of it, which might be helpful for this, because I don't think the audio's, it's just the sound of wind and, Jordan giving directions on where to walk. In this case, we may just want to get rid of it. So what you can do is right click the clip, hit unlink. And what unlink is going to do is separate the video here from the audio. Normally when I click a clip, you see how it selects both, but now I've got only the video selected or only the audio selected. Then I can just take that audio and hit the backspace, keep the delete key, and away it goes, right? And I can do that for all of these clips. I can hit unlink, and then boom. Now I'm just working with the video. There's a number of reasons unlink is an incredibly helpful tool, but this one I think is an obvious one for our purposes. Okay, the last thing I want to do here is export. I don't quite have 50 seconds or a minute long yet, so I'm just going to add a little bit more. I don't know what clips I haven't used yet. Maybe this one of Jordan. There we go. And then maybe my clip of, so maybe have a nice kind of one of Sonia writing. There we go. And there we go. Now I'm at about, oops. There we go. Right at about a minute 2. Perfect. Go ahead and unlink these again to get rid of my audio. Okay, so now I am ready to export. Now, exporting is a bit more of a process here. It's not just a matter of saving the file. Just so you know, Premiere auto saves. It's always kind of saving in the background, but it doesn't hurt to just hit save every now and then. But what it's saving, if we go back to it, is just this. And if you submit this, unless somebody has, actually, even if they have Premiere, this isn't anything. You can see the size of it. Compared to these clips, 113 kilobytes is nothing. So if you just send this file in an email, somebody's not going to be able to watch this. There's nothing to watch. Instead, what you need to do is export the file. Similar to what we did with Photoshop, but this is a much more important part of the process and often a more time-consuming one because it takes longer to render video than it does an image. So what I'm going to do is go to File, Export Media. File, Export Media. Click that or Control-M if you like a hotkey, and it's going to bring up this pretty involved menu here. And in this case, there's a few important steps in terms of how to export. One, let's see what I have in my work area. I'm just going to do entire source instead. And that's usually what you want to do, but check your time. Here's the end time, 1 minute, 2 seconds. That's exactly right. Sometimes what will happen is you'll leave a clip like way on the edge of your sequence, and so you'll end up exporting a 3-minute video when you only had a minute of content because there's just black video and something. So make sure you have that in there, and you can kind of go through it and make sure we've got everything in place. Great. Okay. So the next things, there's a lot of different menus. I'd be happy to walk through what all of these do. Looks like no wonder this was so big, 60 frames per second. But the main ones we want to work on first is the name. Don't name it MVI_2387, catchy as that is. Just video practice 1, or maybe you want to talk about the building. Maybe I'll have my last name in there. NP4, that looks good. The other thing we want here is where it saves to. And as per usual, I want to save my file into video practice 1. Great. That is where it's going. It's going to go with the same with all my other stuff. Then the preset here looks 1280p. That looks good. Format H264. It should default there, but that's the way you want to go. There are some other options here. Oftentimes I'll match source, adaptive high bitrate, and it'll show me kind of the size of the file, 301 megabytes. That sounds about right versus, oh, that's actually better, 159. That's about what it should be. There is a cap in terms of how big a file you can upload to Canvas, so I'm always looking at that estimated file size. Should be under 500 megabytes. For a minute, it should not be bigger than 500 megabytes. If you've got a gig in size, you're doing something wrong in these settings. So I would say either that 1080p HD or down to adaptive high bitrate. And this is ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and hit export. It's going to take it a minute here. Looks like mine's going to take about 20, 30 seconds. And when that is done, you are going to, in your downloads folder, it's already kind of cooking away here. There's the file. It's not quite done yet, But once this finishes, voila, we now have a video file. And there we go. I can watch that back. And there is my file. Looks great. And that is what you are going to upload to Canvas as your final video. Okay, that should do it.